And I remember when I was looking for my first job, the amount of times that I saw, oh, you need experience to do this. And it's like, my biggest thing with that is, well, how the fuck do I get the experience if every place says you need the experience? This is a one-man show right here. I'm the host, I'm the producer, I'm the fucking social media guy, I'm all of it, you know? I'm very, very aware of what I say on the internet because I always believe that, like, well, if you say one sort of controversial thing, then it'll resurface however many years later and then you're canceled. Let's just get right into it, you know? Fucking holy shit. Let's address the elephant in the room right off the fucking hop. Things look a little different. And I'm hoping that it really works out. First and foremost, I have changed cameras. And surprisingly enough to what some people may think is a surprise, I don't know, I'm using my phone, my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Takes forever to say, so just using my phone, all right? Don't want to say the whole name every time. But yeah, using that as the camera because surprisingly enough, that my phone has a much better camera than the $300 webcam that I used to record all the episodes up until this point. It's a better camera. At least I think, anyways. It looks like a little bit of a better camera. Of course, also. Big change with the background. Of course, I actually like rearranged the whole thing. We got the nice like thing, the wall back there that I painted myself. Fucking fun fact for you, I did that all by myself. I made a TikTok video on like me actually painting it and fucking like ripping off all the tape because that's how I got all those white lines. You know what I'm saying? Fucking I put tape all over the wall and then I just made all those shapes pretty much. Painted it all that color. I definitely want to change the colors though because also a little fun fact for the viewers, listeners out there. In case you didn't know, prior to me starting the podcast, prior to me becoming an actor, all these things, I was a huge like I wanted to do streaming, like live streaming on Twitch, and these are kind of the Twitch colors, or at least as close to that as I could get. So like at the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like make this whole like Twitch fucking like studio thing, right? It's gonna look so professional. I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna be the biggest streamer. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I think I had stopped streaming on Twitch before I had finished this room. And then I moved to Toronto, so I like never really was able to use this room for like what I like initially intended for to use it for, if that makes sense. Sorry, I feel like I'm using a lot of words. That's like a big thing that I'm working on is I think I say too many words. And I'm trying to stop that. So, you know, aside from the ums and the ahs and all the filler words, like I'm actually just saying too much. So bear with me. I appreciate you. Yeah, we're back. This is the first fucking time that I'm recording a new episode. First off, in a few weeks. All right, the last time I actually recorded an episode was with Caden LeGros in episode 21. Yeah, I spent a couple weeks off for multiple reasons, and we'll talk about that. One of the biggest reasons, of course, again, like there's just so many changes. I'm just so excited to cover them all. You can see there's a whole new design. I got rid of the whole like yellow fucking design thing that the yellow with the black and white people. It was nice while it lasted, but it was just getting boring. And truth be told, this is so off the record, so real, so fucking like speaking to you one-on-one. Does that make sense? I don't know. I wanted to do this episode for episode 26 because I initially had wanted to do 25 episodes with the old design, right? The old everything, old setup. I pretty much just turned the desk around. So whenever I recorded podcasts, I was looking at that wall and I was facing the wall. Sorry, no, my back was facing the wall that I am now facing, and actually the backdrop that you have seen in previous episodes is right there. It's right there. You can't see it obviously, but I'm looking at it. I think that this just looks a little better, to be honest. Being completely honest, it just gives it more of like a roomy vibe. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm really excited. Really, really, really excited for all the changes, all the new things. As you can see, it's just me today, just a little solo episode going strong. Did that for two reasons, because I wanted a nice fresh reset. Does that make sense? Like with all the everything, new background, new camera, new fucking design, all that stuff. Just kind of feels nice to have myself as it. But more of a real reason is I just didn't line up a guest. I just didn't reach out to anyone yet, which I will be doing very soon. This is a good opportunity to kind of address this. I'll preface by saying that I love doing this podcast. I really do. It's honestly been the biggest passion project that I've worked on probably ever. And I say that because obviously I make no money on this yet. I say yet because, I do believe that with time and consistency, that the success, right? And, by success, I mean, making money and just seeing the show grow. That all is inevitable. All that success is inevitable with the time and consistency. So where was I going with that? I don't know. It's just it's I love doing the podcast. Let me just restart. But I have to be honest, it is so much work. And I just don't think that a lot of people, or as many people, realize how much work it truly goes into it. Especially just for the fact that, sort of piggybacking, what the fuck is the word? I don't know, whatever. Just adding on to it is what I meant to say. To the passion project aspect of it. There we go again, saying too many words. Sort of adding on to the fact I'm not making any money and everything like that. I don't have any help, for lack of a better term. This is a one-man show right here. I'm the host, I'm the producer, I'm the fucking social media guy, I'm all of it, Which I know that's how, you start, right? Yeah, unless you just have a bunch of money put aside for something like this, and you have that budget in mind to be hiring all these people, and eventually I will be. I just gotta truth be told, the show just gotta be starting to make some money to be doing that, and like I said, that just comes with time and consistency, which that's what I am doing. So welcome to episode 23. What? 23. It's so funny. I was talking to someone just the other day, and they had said that this actually. So I had just mentioned that I am a podcast host. I didn't mention really anything about the show, and they had just mentioned, oh, that's so cool that you're a podcast host. It's I heard this stat the other day of this is what the person's telling me. They're like, most podcasts don't go past 21 episodes or something like that. And then I remember telling them, I'd be like, Yeah, well, I'm literally working on episode 22 right now. That's when I was working on the best moments episode from last week, and then obviously now I'm doing episode 23. Pretty good stuff, pretty cool stuff. I think once I get, if I got the math right, I think it's at episode 26, which is part of the reason why I initially wanted this episode to be for episode 26, but it's okay. I think once I get to that one, which it'll be 3 weeks from now, is the 6-month mark, right? Because 26 weeks, I believe, is 6 months, which is fucking awesome. That means I've been I'd say 90% committed to doing this podcast. Obviously, I've missed weeks here and there, and that's normal. Right, especially for me doing this all on my own, it is, those weeks off are very much needed sometimes. But then also at the same time, I really don't like missing. Right, it's sort of this thing where it's like I don't want to miss an episode, but sometimes I just have to. All right, because life is just fucking busy. Speaking of a busy life, I want to talk about this other thing that I was, sort of talking about with someone the other day. And that is that my generation, Gen Z, which side note before I continue, how do I go about this? I think Gen Z has its there's the good parts about it, but there's also the bad parts. I mean, I think that's the case with any generation, really. No one's perfect, right? I have said in the past, not necessarily on the pod, but just in general in the past, that I don't consider myself to be a part of Gen Z, even though I technically am. And the only reason for that is just because for the big, things that sort of Gen Z represents, there's just a lot that I just don't agree with. And this is my podcast off the record, as you know, obviously. And why I'm bringing that up is because sometimes I will say some hot takes that maybe not everybody necessarily agrees with. And one of those hot takes, I guess, we'll go right into that, is just the fact that, I'd say the worst part about Gen Z is that, there's really no easy way to put this. That's literally the fucking reason why I don't like Gen Z, is because I feel like everything is offensive. Now, of course, I understand that there are socially acceptable things and there are socially unacceptable things. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but basically what I'm saying is I'm not saying I'm fucking, one of these people that, I don't know, is all racist or whatever the fuck, all these old social norms, right? With, the what is now unacceptable, all the words, for example. I'm not saying I'm someone who's saying all these politically incorrect words, right? But I just feel like you got to be so fucking careful about what you say nowadays, because it's even gotten to the point where people will get offended at something that you say that may not even have anything to do with them, right? They're offended at the fact that I would, the thing that I would say or someone would say would offend someone else. So now they're offended because now I've offended that person, potentially, right? It's gone way too fucking far. Way too far, Like I said, there are obviously things that are okay to say. There are things that are, not okay, right? But, yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. It is tough, we'll say, to be a part of Gen Z in that regard. But on the other side of things, the other hand, I have heard that Gen Z can also be heard as the burnout generation. And I heard this really interesting thing, or someone, this was on TikTok, I believe. They had said that boomers or whatever, like older people, sometimes consider Gen Z to be lazy, as if they don't want to work. Now, here's the thing. I'm not speaking for every Gen Z person, right? Because, I mean, obviously lazy people exist, right? And if, basically I'm saying is that while there are, like, addressing that thing that the older people sometimes can say, definitely some people are lazy, right? And they just don't have any drive to work or, do anything good or whatever, right? But I think that can sometimes be misunderstood. The laziness can be misunderstood as exhaustion and burnout, right? Because I can definitely speak for myself in this, on that point, is that, there are some times where I am quote unquote lazy, right? I just would like to fucking do nothing for the day, right? Because, well, for the last, let's see, 2 years, I've been working 2 jobs. Now, granted, neither of those jobs are full-time, right? So it's, it's essentially like working 1 full-time job, but it is still exhausting to be working 2 separate jobs. And sometimes I'd have to work both jobs on the same day, right? It gets to be a lot, One of the cool parts is that one of those jobs that I was doing will be ending very shortly. So I will go down to just having the 1 job again, which is awesome. And I think that's really going to, it's really going to help me with staying consistent on the podcast because, I'm just not going to have as much on my plate, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to be working a lot, right? Like anybody does, right? And I wish I could do podcasting, acting stuff, all of that, for like full time. Now I know that will happen eventually, right? But right now it's time to be starting that stuff. This is the grind, right? This is all shit that I'm going to be talking about, in fucking 5-10 years, however long it takes, I don't know, right? Getting sort of in the spiritual realm of things, right? I know my success is inevitable, right? And it's so funny is that, like, I'm very, very aware of what I say on the internet because I always believe that, like, well, if you say one sort of controversial thing, then it'll resurface however many years later, and then you're canceled. Another thing about Gen Z that I just don't fuck with. Fuck the cancel culture, bruh. I mean, yes, if you're a shitty person, fuck you. But, like, if you make one mistake, let's not, like, just fucking let's move on. All right? Anyways, here we go. What was I going to say? Yes, my success is inevitable. Because I believe that, right? Now, that doesn't mean that I'm saying, I better be a fucking Oscar-winning movie star this time 2 years from now or 5 years from now. I'm not saying that. I'm not putting any kind of timeline on that. Basically all I'm saying is that I believe that with hard work and dedication and if you want it enough, you can achieve anything, right? I'm a firm believer in you can do anything you put your mind to, obviously within, like, reality, right? You can't put your mind to becoming a super villain, superhero, or fucking teleporting or going invisible, right? Because those aren't realistic things. That isn't within reality, right? Those are unattainable things because they are physically impossible. I'm talking about career aspirations and, just fitness goals and, friendship goals, relationship goals, right? All that stuff, right? Like, those are all very possible things. And I believe that if you put your mind to those things, those realistic things, like a goal, in order for a goal to be reachable, it has to be attainable. There you go. That's a cool kind of saying. If the goal is not reachable, well, I mean, it mustn't be unattainable. It mustn't be possible. Now, I mean, also what I'll say is that not everything is meant for everybody, right? Like not, right? Like, I don't know. Even if I wanted to be a fucking NFL quarterback, well, I just don't think that's for me for multiple reasons, because I've only played football for 1 year, and that was when I was like fucking 12. I just played for the one season because I was a scrawny little kid and I didn't want to get tackled anymore. That's kind of funny. I remember talking about that with Emerson in episode 13, I believe that was, which, holy shit, that was 10 episodes ago because we're on a 23. What the fuck? Time just flies by. Anyways, no, I played football for one season with a team called the Nomads. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really a scrawny little kid anymore. So it's sort of this like weird thing where like I love watching football. I love watching all sports, which that's also something that I'm going to talk about today as well. But you know, as much as I love watching sports, there's some times where I'll be like, damn, I want to play that sport now. You know what I mean? And like, I was thinking, you know, oh, since I'm like not really so much of like this like scrawny little kid anymore, I could probably do much better in football because now I actually got a bit of muscle on me, you know, and I like those sort of contact sports. I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of boxing, right? I train boxing all the time. You know, but I just think that like to get involved in a team sport, I think it just it you need to do it earlier in life, unfortunately. And you know, I mean, I've definitely heard people say you're never too old to do anything in life, you know, but I mean also at the same time, I don't know. Like just I think that like doing or being a part of a team sport, it requires commitment, and I think I'm too full on the commitments right now. I got the podcast, I got my acting career, I got fucking the like my job, like so I can pay bills. You know, I got family, I got friends. There's so much shit, man. You know, and it's just like we just don't have time for it all, right? Like I wish I did, right? Like I was saying, if I could do podcasting and acting. Obviously put podcasting first before acting, in just because that's something that I am putting a lot of time into. Not saying I don't want to be an actor. I spent fucking $40,000 essentially to become an actor, right? You know, and what I mean by that is I went to Toronto Film School, graduated their acting program, which I definitely do not regret. Yes, it was expensive, but you know what? I think it was just very worth it because I met a lot of really great people, and I learned a lot of you know, invaluable skills, right, in terms of my acting career, but also just in life as well. You know, like it really, it took me out of my shell, or brought me out of my shell, whatever the saying is. I used to be very, very introverted. Not necessarily shy. And here's the thing. It's not like I'm like a completely different person. I'm quite a different person than I used to be, but not like there are those little similarities, right? And I was just kind of thinking about that last night, actually. You know, how was I gonna go about saying this? I don't know. I'm trying, obviously, just to do this all in one take, which is actually quite difficult because, you know, if I lose my train of thought, whatever. But before I lose my train of thought, I'll start by saying that I like to watch this guy on YouTube. He's a fitness influencer, I guess we could call it. I don't really know what the exact title would be, but he goes by the name of Will Tennyson. Canadian guy, love it. And he was on a podcast or just some sort of interview, and the way that he described himself, it was like one of those moments where like I literally had to pause the thing I was watching, and be like, holy fuck, I feel so seen and so heard, and like I feel like that is me. What he had said is that he is not a shy person, but he just doesn't have a lot to say. And when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, that is literally me. That is literally me, because I've never been a shy person. Yeah, I used to be a bit more introverted, but it's not like I was like this, like didn't want to say anything or didn't want to do anything or whatever, or, like scared to talk, or no, never. Right? I would talk to anyone. I mean, maybe I wasn't as good as talking to people as I now am. Not saying I'm a pro. You get what I'm saying, hopefully. But yeah, I still, even to this day, I'll be around people and, maybe I'll be kind of keeping quiet and sort of just being to myself while everybody else is talking, which I have to admit, it kind of does bother me, but also at the same time, I can't really force it, right? The job that I'm now leaving, right? One of my biggest criticisms to them, right? And I won't say any names, whatever, fuck it, just to avoid shit, right? I think I might have even said where I work in previous episodes. I don't know, whatever. The company that I'm leaving right now, they really, really, really enforce having conversations with the customers. And, on paper, that sounds like, yeah, that's fine, right? Like, no biggie, right? But my issue with it is that not every customer needs to be talked to, right? We don't need to start a conversation with every single fucking customer, right? Because when we do that, those conversations are no longer genuine. They are forced. And if they're forced, they're fake. And then it's just a waste of time, right? Because if it's a forced fake conversation, right? I'm literally just talking to you because my fucking employer says I have to, right? It's right. I don't know. Anyways, I should stop before I go too far. But basically, what I'm saying is, where was I actually going with that? I don't know. I don't know how I brought up that thing. I was there's the first tangent of the day. Jordan Rance's tangents. That should be its own series in and of itself. It's just the random side roads we tend to go down on this podcast. But like the job I'm leaving right now, like it's definitely was not the worst job in the world. I definitely have worked much worse before. But I have to be honest, I am very, very glad to be leaving this company. Just because I really need a change, and I'm ready for the next chapter, I was thinking more kind of about sorry, there I go with the ums and the ahs, but whatever. Working on it, like I said. What was I thinking about? Fuck! And go fucking forgetting what I'm saying. I have no idea what I was fucking talking about. I'm so terrible for that because, like, I just, like, it pisses me off, man. What was I, like, and I can't go back in time. I don't know. Grateful that I'm leaving this company because I'm ready for the next chapter. Yes, okay, the next chapter. How do I put it into words? It's so fucking weird. It's like I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to start it. I have been thinking a lot. This is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, viewers, listeners. I'm sorry. You can skip past this part if you want. This is fucked. I'm talking about just my self journey into improving myself. Why is this so fucking hard to say? I don't get it. But so basically what I'm saying, well, there's a saying where you got to love yourself before you can love anyone else, right? And you got to love yourself before anything really good happens to you as well. Sorry, this feels so weird to say because I feel like there's just that missing piece of like how I want to introduce this topic, but I just fucking can't figure out how to go about saying it. So I apologize for that, but whatever. I've known that saying quite like for a long time, you know, about you got to love yourself before really anything good happens, right? You don't find love, you don't find good friendships. You know, nothing good happens. Fuck, I've said that like 500 times now. And you know, up until about a month or two ago, I thought that, you know, loving yourself just meant you know, not speaking negatively about yourself, you know, and like speaking positively and all this shit. And that is part of it. I'm not saying that's not. That definitely is part of it. But what loving yourself fully entails, it's more than the positive self-talk. Excuse me. It is also about the environment that you live in, the people that you surround yourself with, the your hygiene even. Holy fuck, that's a big one. Cuz like if you can't even like I can go and be all like, "Oh yeah, I'm like a super, you know, good person and like I'm awesome and I'm powerful and I'm like amazing and all I can say all these good things, but then if I'm like not ever going to take care of like myself, right? Say if someone doesn't fucking shower or doesn't fucking do all this shit, that's also a form of not loving yourself because you're not taking care of yourself, right? And I will fully admit, this is a very vulnerable fucking part of me, is that when I was a teenager, I used to neglect my hygiene a lot. And it feels so weird to just openly say that because like that used to be something that I was like, I'm never going to fucking talk about because that's such a personal thing, right? But yeah, like I used to be horrible with my hygiene, you know, and I think it's partially due, right? Like my lack of hygiene in like my high school days, for example, I think that had something to do with my lack of confidence. Because I'll tell you, this is so fucking real and like so like what a specific detail about like who I used to be. Fucking when you don't smell good, for example, you are not like confident at all because all you're thinking about is like, holy shit, like I don't smell good right now. And, you know, probably other people are thinking that same thing. And then that's, you know, making me overthink everything and all that stuff. So that is just a form of not loving yourself. So it's important to do that, to shower, right? It's a very basic, you know, human thing. And, you know, and that's not to say like in high school, like it's not like I didn't shower at all, but this is so fucked up. I used to go into the shower and I would wash my hair, I'd shampoo my hair, but then I wouldn't soap up my body at all. This is so fucked. And that's probably why I used to like suffer with acne a lot. Because I never did that, right? I used to think that, oh, if I just like stand under the hot water for long enough, the dirt and the grime will just wash right off. Nope. No. Nope. Don't think that. That is not true at all. Yeah. So loving yourself has multiple sort of aspects to it, right? And I reach out to and like I'm talking to anybody that may be struggling with self-love, to consider all of those things, right? Because also, I'll tell you, when you start caring about yourself in terms of, like I was saying, hygiene, your environment, right? If you are constantly living in a fucking mess, and that's also a thing about me. Like, truth be told, I'm quite messy, right? Clothes are my worst fucking nightmare, right? The only reason why it looks clean right now is because I cleaned it for the podcast, right? But I will literally tell you that this fucking morning, clothes all over the fucking floor, all over the floor. Now, I'm not saying that that's the worst thing in the world, because I think we as people, I think that's a pretty normal struggle. At least I hope so, right? That a lot of people, right? Clothes will, you change out of your work clothes. You don't fucking put them away. You take them off and on the floor they go. I think that is fine, but when it gets to be a point of like where you're literally having to step over shit, right? And I speak from experience because, again, that's also some way I used to be, right? And still kind of am, admittingly. Even probably tomorrow, this room's probably going to be quite a lot messier than what it is now. But you know what? No one's perfect, like I've said quite a few times now, actually. But yeah, loving yourself, big topic of the day, right? Once you can sort of really like take care of hygiene and your space, right? Keep it relatively clean, at least. That confidence, right? And like the self-love, like the positive talk that you say about yourself, that will naturally, you're going to feel much better, and you're actually going to believe those words, right? Because if you neglect those things, hygiene, your environment, you can say all the nice things you want about yourself, but do you truly believe those words? Probably not, because you have those underlying things, right? I rest my case there, right? Love yourself and just consider all of the aspects of it. But back to what I was kind of talking about, just about my love-hate relationship with Gen Z. I've already kind of touched base on why I don't like it and what I don't resonate with. But let's talk more about the part that I do 100% agree with and I am on board with. And that is the fact that a lot of Gen Z peoples are burnt out. Now, again, that's not because we're lazy. At least some of us aren't. But, like, the economy is just fucked. I'll say that, I live in Canada, as I've probably said before, and you just might just know that based on how you know me. I don't know. But what was I saying? There you go again. The economy. It's sorry. Fuck my nose. God damn, that's gross. My nose is like fucking being annoying. It's being all stupid. Like, anyways. This is, like, frustrating because I got a fucking camera on me, right? Like, in the first few episodes of the pod, right? Audio only back then, right? I could have done anything. I could have been sitting here in my drawers. Could have been just fucking naked as fuck, recording a pod. But I can't do that anymore because I have the camera. That was a little weird. That was a little weird tangent. I'm obviously not going to sit here naked. Camera or no camera. That's just not who I am. Like, fuck's sake. I'm like someone who, like, I gotta wear socks in the house at all times. I hate being even barefoot, let alone fucking not having fucking pants on. I don't understand how some people can do that. Fuck's sake. Why I started talking about it? No idea. Let's get back to regularly scheduled programming, shall we? Yeah, poor economy, man. It's bad in Canada, and that might seem surprising to my American peoples, because, well, the truth is that a lot of Americans think that America is the only country in the world, and that every other country, they just don't really know much about it, which I've always thought is very strange for the fact of how many Americans don't know things about Canada, because we literally share the fucking biggest border in the entire world, right? We are attached by land, right? And there's just the fucking border that's separating us, right? But yeah, I will say to my American peoples that as much as your economy might be absolute shit, and that's just due to the fact that you just have an absolute orange fucking potato loser running your shit, and I'll say that comfortably, I'll say that proudly, fuck Donald Trump, bruh. I'm saying it. I'm saying it right here, right now, and I'm sorry if you support him. I don't really see you as any different, right? Say if, there are people out there that I know that maybe disagree with me politically and actually do like Trump and all this fucking shit. I don't know. I don't know how you could like it, but that's neither here nor there. Your life is your life. Live it, right? But also at the same time, as much as I respect your opinion, respect mine, right? I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like the Republican Party as it is right now. I'm not saying that the Republican Party is terrible, but I think the fact that Trump is running the Republican Party and all his MAGA minions, I think that has really, really dropped the credibility and the, the good aspect of what the Republican Party can be. So, taking that quick deep dive into that, in terms of all those elections that had just happened, in the States, in terms of like the Virginia governor's race, the New York City mayoral, I don't know, the mayor election. I don't know how to say that word. But, a bunch of those things, obviously with California's Prop 50, it was a massive win for the Democrats. And, I'll say that, again, similar to the Republican Party. No, I don't think that the Democrat Party is like fucking perfect, right? But they oppose Trump, and I think that's what the world needs, if I'm being completely honest, right? And I don't really like to involve too many sort of political, topics on this podcast. I do, like, truth be told, I really, really involve myself in politics. Like, I'm not a political analyst by any means, but, American politics, they're just fucking interesting to me. It feels like a fucking reality TV show half the time, which is kind of fucked up to think about because, like, damn, it's not a reality TV show, but the fact that it feels like it is, it just goes to show the type of people that are running the country. It's like they're just not serious at all. But anyways, whatever. Yeah, back to what I was saying for the fucking 463rd time. Poor economy. It is near impossible to get a job. And to those peoples out there, Canada or US, I'm speaking right to you when I say that if you are actively trying to get a job and you're not seeing anything, right? Don't beat yourself up for it. I'm also a firm believer in, if you can't control the thing that you're worried about, right? If you have no control over it, don't waste your time worrying about it. Like I'll use an example for I don't know, acting career, right? I'm doing everything I can, right? Or podcasting, right? My brand in and of itself, Jordan Rance, the brand. Sort of. It's just my own. It's like myself. there's nothing I can do, right? I can't control, a casting director fucking wanting to cast me, right? Or whether they do or don't, right? But that is something that I know will happen. It's hard to sort of say. It's this sort of thing where, yeah, I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Holy fuck. I was gonna like say more about it, but then I'm like, what the fuck? No, that's just how it is. It's just, if you can't if you don't have any control over it, and you can't get that control over it, because there's just some things we can't control. Don't waste your time worrying about it. But yeah, just keep trying, man. Get as many job applications as you can out there, but don't overdo it. Right? I'm a big sort of believer in that. Holy fuck! I'm just talking about all these things that I believe in. Holy fuck, whatever. Yeah, don't burn yourself out. There you go. Right? Do what you can, and that's all you can do. Right? Try your best. Right? I think also like a big sort of frustration that I have with just how things are in general nowadays, and I think what is really the fact of how the economy is absolute shit, has it's partially due to the fact that you need university or college for like fucking everything nowadays, right? And which is so fucking stupid to think about, because in the age of like YouTube or like just online fucking, like, you can look up anything, you can learn anything pretty much on the internet, right? And yes, I know there are professionals that, spend their whole fucking life, doing these things, right? And to that, I say that, I'm not undermining college professors, university fucking people, right? Like teachers, right? All that stuff, right? But like, holy shit, like, when I see that, like, there's a social media manager or like a social media person, right? Someone like a company is, when I see that they're hiring for someone to just run their social media accounts, right? And I see that, they're like, oh, you got to have a business degree, or you got to have like a marketing degree of some sort. And it's like, motherfucker, I spend like all the fucking time, damn near, on Instagram. I know so much about Instagram. I'd be like fucking posting on it all the time, and fucking, obviously I post more about, or post more on the podcast channel than I do on the on my personal one. But still, I know a lot about it, and I think there's training available. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, why do I need to be going and spending fucking all this money just to get some sort of job so that I can pay off the money that I spent to learn the thing that I am now working as, right? And I think it's very valuable. And like I said, I don't regret going to acting school. I think I learned so much about it, and a lot of invaluable things, right? That's what I learned, right? Do I think that it should have been cheaper? Yes. Yep. I'll say it without hesitation. I think that school in general should be at least cheaper, right? Like, all this fucking like crazy ass shit, like, bro, medical school, bro, I hear it can get up into the fucking 6 figures. 6 figures. I'm lucky enough not to have that, right? I'll let you know, like, holy fuck. I wouldn't say a specific number because that's just a personal detail, but like, there's a lot of money that I owe to student loans and whatnot, right? Thankfully, it hasn't reached the six-figure mark, and I hope that it never does. But you know, what I mean, unless I fucking mortgage, like get a mortgage for a house, right? That's something different, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's like holy shit. Uh, it really it sort of ties into the fact of like how people don't have that motivation to get a job or whatever, right? They're burnt out because, you know, fucking almost every single posting, you either need school or you need some sort of experience with it. And that sort of brings me into the next topic, sort of tying into what I was just talking about, is I think the fact of that people, for these entry level jobs, I'll remind you, right? We're talking about being a fucking cashier at a grocery store, okay? I have genuinely seen postings, right, in the past. I've seen postings of where fucking these people, like these postings say, you need to have at least 1 year of customer service experience. I said cervix. Yikes. That was a fucking bad slip up. Fucking customer service experience, right? And let me tell you, as someone, right, way back when I was like fucking 16 years old, right, I wanted to work, right? I was never the type of kid to be all like, you know, oh, I just want to like stay at home and fucking do nothing. Like I got a job as soon as I remember I worked my very first job when I was 15 and a half. And I say that job because it was at this like fucking place where like it was like I wasn't ever like on payroll, where it was just like a thing where like whatever money was made, I would just take a small portion of like what they said I could take. And yeah, I mean, you know, it was a good little first starter job, right? You know, it was all cash, right? That kind of thing. A lot of jobs are like that, I guess, right? I don't know. I hope I'm not saying anything that is gonna like fuck me over, but look, we're talking about this was like almost 10 years ago, so, and I would have made like maybe $200 like total on this job, right? I only did the job for like 6 months. So I mean, government, if you're watching, if you want the $200, I mean, just let me know. Probably not gonna give it, but okay, fuck, I gotta stop talking before I fuck myself over. Okay, all right. Stop talking, Jordan, stop talking. Yeah, you know, I have worked a lot, and I remember when I was first looking for my first job, right? The amount of times that I saw, oh, you need experience to do this, and it's like my biggest thing with that is, well, how the fuck do I get the experience if every place says you need the experience? You know what I'm saying? And like, why the fuck do I need customer service experience to be a fucking cashier at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Like, just train me on how to do it. So, I think that's a big reason as well about how, you know, people just are, I don't know, burnt out, I guess, right? Because there's so many things that just, I don't know, are there, right? If you don't have the experience, well, fuck. If you don't have the correct fucking schooling, well, you're fucked, right? You know? So it leaves you with pretty much nothing, right? Because for the non-entry level, right, you either need some sort of schooling. For the entry level, you need experience. How do you get the experience? I don't fucking know if no one will hire you, right? Don't get it, right? And I think that there's just a lot that's broken about the world, about the economy, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I think that's all I got, honestly. Like, fuck, I've been talking for just about an hour. I don't really like to have these fucking solo episodes to be too long. Oh, fuck, I was going to talk about the sports. Okay, I got to talk about that super quick. Yeah. the World Series. It was a thing that just happened. And as you may be able to tell from my sort of, how I'm talking about this, I'm not too happy with how it ended. Let me explain. First and foremost, I will say a congrats to the Dodgers for winning the World Series. Do I think that they deserved it? Nope. Not at all. No. And that's for multiple reasons, right? Obviously, as me being a Canadian and also someone that has previously lived in Toronto and will be going back, whenever the time is right. Obviously, like, the Blue Jays are my team, man, and I don't hate the Dodgers, right? Like, it's quite literally the opposite. I think they're, a good team. I love the city of LA. But the reason why I think they didn't deserve it, for the starters, the fact that they won last year. So, okay, you had your time last year. Let someone else have a piece of the fucking cake. You know what I'm saying? And also just the fact that they were playing Toronto. Whether I was Canadian or just a fan of Toronto or not, the undeniable truth is that Toronto was the more deserving team, right? In terms of the fact that the last time they won a World Series was in 1993, so we're talking about fucking like 31, 32 years ago, whatever the math is there. 30-something fucking years ago was the last time they won it, right? So they had so much more to fight for. And I guess, you can say, oh, well, in the ALCS, Toronto played Seattle. Is it Seattle? I think it's Seattle. And Seattle has like never been to the World Series. So, that's also a fair thing. But I mean, at that point, I think both teams had that to play for. All right. As a Toronto fan, I'm just happy that they that they won the ALCS. In terms of the World Series, just because the Dodgers technically won, I think that the Blue Jays are the actual winners, for multiple reasons. Again, because there were more games that the Blue Jays actually did better in. Like, think about I think that was game 1 of the World Series this year. Correct me if I'm wrong to anyone that may know, but wasn't it, was it Alejandro Kirk? With the Grand Slam. We got a Grand Slam. Someone did. I can't remember who did it. Right? Fucking, it was 11-4, I believe, the final score. Right? And then think like the fucking game 3. Right? Fucking 18 innings. Almost 7 hours that game went on for, and just for Freddie Freeman to hit the home run in the 18th inning, like, fucking, both teams were, like, even in that sense, right? Because if the Dodgers were so much better than the Blue Jays, right, why did it take both teams to the 18th inning, right? Just for Freddie Freeman to, get lucky with the fucking homer, right? But let's talk about games 4 and 5 that were played in LA. Toronto fucking destroyed LA in both of those games, right? Game 6, they lost. Toronto lost, but I don't think it was by much. Maybe that one was it. But, and then we're talking about game 7, where fucking, okay, yes, the Dodgers only won by 1, and I can see the counter argument. Well, I mean, they were down by 3 and they happened to come back. I get that. That is impressive in that regard. But as a final score for LA only beating Toronto by 1 point, right? Yeah, sure. The very last play was like, they got the 2 outs, right? They did the double play. But yeah, I just think that Toronto deserved it way more. And I'm proud of the boys on the Blue Jays. I think they did a great job. Obviously, like I mean, my favorite player has been Vladimir Guerrero Jr. For the past few years or so. But I mean, ton of players. Shout out to Bo Bichette with the fucking was it a 3-run homer in Game 7? I believe. I don't know. It was some crazy homer. Shout out to Bo Bichette. Shout out to Alejandro Kirk. Shout out to Ernie Clement, bruh. Holy fuck. What a fucking good ass fucking, like, just so much heart, man. You know, Addison Barger, Andres Jimenez, fucking, who else? Treya Savage. Holy fuck. Rookie of the year right there, bro. How are you going to go from not even playing in the fucking major league in the fucking spring? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, right? You're not even playing in the major league earlier in the year, and then you go to play in the World Series the same year, like a matter of months later, like, and also fucking broke the record for, like, didn't he like strike out? Like, he got the record for the most strikeouts that a rookie has ever gotten. Again, I could be wrong, but it was something along those lines, right? Absolute fucking just amazing baseball that was being played by the Blue Jays, and I'm very fucking proud of their efforts. And I think that we'll bounce back next year, and we got it, right? Especially if we're not playing LA, right? I think, we beat the Yankees in the divisional series. Fucking, I think that we got them in 5. It, again, could be wrong. I can't remember the specific stats, but I believe it was 4-1 in the ALDS. If we happen to go to the World Series, actually no, fuck, I'm stupid. They're both in the American League. Point is, if it's just someone other than the Dodgers, I think we have a better shot, because I think that LA just, I don't know, there's just not as much heart. And that's what I really love about a team, is when they have that love for the game, right? It doesn't just look like they're there because, they're getting tens of millions of dollars a year, right? Like, they're there because they love playing I was going to say football, love playing baseball, right? And that goes for any sport, right? I mean, that does go for, like, football peoples, right? Football, like NFL particularly, it's definitely less of that passion, and it is more like money. But I mean, I don't know. NFL football is just entertaining. It's just gets you hyped and everything, especially when, they get a fucking 50-yard run. Holy shit. Damn. Crazy. Or, like, throw a Hail Mary fucking touchdown for the win. Oh, shit. Unbeatable vibes. But, yeah, I mean, yeah. That's all I got. Now it's all I got. I think I did okay. First episode back, about an hour in, just a little short, just a little check-in. Being completely fucking honest, I didn't really talk about many of the notes that I had put up for this episode, which is good for the fact that I could potentially talk about in other episodes, but also at the same time the fact that, holy shit, I'm getting pretty fucking good at just talking, right? Because in the first episode, I could never have done this. Nope. I used to have, like, notes for every point. I'm, like, fucking hiccuping. But yeah, it's been great to be back. I don't know. And I appreciate you guys all for watching and listening, viewing, subscribe, and all the fun stuff. We're back better than ever. We'll see you next week. Hopefully with a guest, but, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But other than that, My name's Jordan Rance. This has been Off the Record. Of course, feel free to follow the show on Instagram at Off the Record with Jordan Rance. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching the video as well. Of course, available on all audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, whatever you want to call it. And then, yes, new episodes every Friday, for the most part, at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Jordan Rance, and I am heading out of here. We'll see you next week. Bye.